Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala nabiyyina Muhammad, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ya hayyu ya qayyum bi rahmati astaghith. Aslih lana sha'nana kulla wa la takilna ila anfusina tarfata 'ain. Alhamdulillah, we are on the chapter of the Imamate, or leading the Salah. We are on Bab Al-Imamah, the chapter of leading the Salah. And in this chapter, the author, Ibn Qudama rahimahullah, he mentions the Masail and the rules. Who should we choose for leading the Salah? Who should come forward? Who is ahaq? Who is that the one that is most suitable? What are the conditions of being an imam? What are things that may prevent someone from being an imam? And he talks about can women be an imam, or who can women lead in their salawat, as well as the tartib of how we should line up. Who should be first? Should there be men, then kids, then women, etc.? And he talks in details about these masail. قال المصنف رحمه الله, the author رحمه الله, he says, and he starts off with a hadith. He says, قال روى أبو مسعود البدري أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يؤم قوم أقرأهم لكتاب الله فإن كانوا في القراءة سواء فأعلمهم بالسنة وإن كانوا في السنة سواء فأقدمهم هجرة وإن كانوا في الهجرة سواء فليؤمهم أكبرهم سنا ولا يؤمن الرجل في بيته ولا في سلطانه ولا يجلس على تكرمته إلا بإذنه. وقال لمالك ابن حويرث وصاحبه إذا حضرت الصلاة فليؤذن أحدكما وليؤمكما أكبركما وكانت قراءتهما متقاربة ولا تصح الصلاة خلف من صلاته فاسدة إلا لمن لم يعلم بحدث نفسه ولم يعلمه المأموم حتى سلم فإنه يعيد وحده ولا تصح خلف تارك ركن إلا إمام الحي إذا صلى جالسا لمرض يرجى برؤه فإنهم يصلون وراء جلوسا إلا أن يبتدئها قائما ثم يعتل فيجلس فإنهم يتمون معه قياما ولا تصح إمامة المرأة ومن به سلس البول والأمي الذي لا يحسن الفاتحة أو يخل بحرف منها إلا بمثلهم ويجوز تمام المتوضئ بالمتيمم والمفترض بالمتنفل وإذا كان المأمون واحدا وقف عن يمين الإمام فإن وقف عن يساره أو قدامه أو وحده لم تصح إلا أن تكون امرأة فتقف وحدها خلفه وإن كانوا جماعة فقوفوا خلفه فإن وقفوا عن يمينه أو عن جانبه صح وإن صلت امرأة بنساء قامت معهن في الصف وسطهن وكذلك إمام الرجل عراة يقوم وسطهم وإن اجتمع رجال وصبيان وخنثى والنساء قدم الرجال ثم الصبيان ثم الخنثى ثم النساء ومن كبر قبل سلام الإمام فقد أدرك الجماعة ومن أدرك الركوع فقد أدرك الركعة وإلا فلا. The author rahimahumullah, he starts off by quoting a hadith, the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud al-Badri. And the hadith says, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, the Prophet the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, he says, يَأُمُّ قَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. The leader or the one that leads the salah is the one that is أَقْرَأُهُمْ. So the person that is chosen to lead his people is أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ, the one that can recite the book of Allah the best. فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي قِرَاءَةِ سِوَاءً فَأَعْلَمُهُمْ بِالسُّنَّةِ. And if their qira'ah is the same, then the next is the most knowledgeable in the sunnah. So let's take a step back here and let's talk about the word aqra'uhum. So the fuqaha have mentioned al-aqra', it means the recitation is huwa al-ajwadu qira'ah, what is the most beautiful in its recitation. And al-ajwad, it means beautification and also means yuhsin tajweed. He follows the rules of tajweed. So the one that has the best tajweed, the best recitation, the best qira'ah is the one that is preferred or the one that is put forth to lead his people out of everyone. If there are multiple people in the gathering or in a group or in a village that are the same, they are all experts in reciting the Quran, for example, then we move on to the next condition or the next criteria which will put you forth to be the imam, and that is فَأَعْلَمُهُمْ بِالسُّنَّةِ, then the one who is most knowledgeable of the sunnah. And when the word sunnah is mentioned, the fuqaha have mentioned, يعني al-ma'na, the meaning is he knows more about the religion, because the sunnah, the hadith is what is it? It's fiqh of the religion. It's understanding of the religion. So the first is the one that has the beautiful recitation with tajweed and he recites properly, moderately. Then if they are the same, then we prefer the one that knows more of the sunnah, has more knowledge of the religion and understanding of the religion. فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي السُّنَّةِ سَوَاءً, and if they are in the sunnah the same, فَأَقْدَمُهُمْ hijrah, then the one that is older in them in hijrah. So in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they were commanded to make hijrah from Mecca to Medina, and there were some believers that made hijrah first, and then there were some that made after that. And this is a proof that the ones that made hijrah first are higher in status than the ones that made hijrah afterwards. Right? So this is one of the criterion that is used. The one who has made hijrah first is preferred. فَإِنْ كَانُوا فِي الْهِجْرَةِ سَوَاءً فَلْيَأُمُّهُمْ أَكْبَرُهُمْ سِنًّا. And if their hijrah is the same, or if they don't have hijrah, for example, in our case, then the one who is older in age. وَلَا يَؤُمَّنَّ الرَّجُلُ فِي بَيْتِهِ. And a man does not, a visitor does not lead a man in his home. وَلَا فِي سُلْطَانِهِ, and in his authority. وَلَا يَجْلِسُ عَلَى تكرمته إلا بإذني, and he does not sit on his sofas or his chairs or the furniture that he has in his home except with his permission. So what does this part mean here? So the scholars have mentioned also another riwayah after saying أقدمهم هجرة. The Prophet ﷺ says in another riwayah, وَفَأَقْدَمُهُمْ سِلْمًا, then the one that is greater in Islam. So Islam is also taken into consideration if a person is a new Muslim, or if he is an older Muslim, or he was born Muslim, he would be preferred as well. Now, towards the end of the hadith, he mentions, and a man does not lead another man in his home or in his sultan, right? And this part here means that a man, for example, you invite a guest to your home, right? You invite a sheikh to your house. And this sheikh, mashallah, he has memorized the Quran in the 10 different qira'at. Yani his tajweed is, on point, perfect, better than yours, right? His tajweed is better than yours. He knows more of the Sunnah than you. He is more knowledgeable than you. But it is your home, and you can recite Fatiha. There's no problem. You have no issues in reciting, right? Then you are still the owner of the house, Sahib al-Bayt. He is ahaq to lead the Salah. The person that owns the home, the person that is living there, the person that is the host, he is ahaq to lead the Salah. Even if a person that is more knowledgeable than him, that is more aqra than him comes, he is still ahaq. And he can only, the sheikh or the imam or the person that's more knowledgeable than him can only lead the Salah in another man's house if he has permission, or if he tells him to lead the salawat. Also, if the sultan, for example, the king or the ruler of the country, of course, a Muslim country, or someone that is Muslim, and he is in a gathering, and he can recite, as the condition is, as long as he can recite Surah Al-Fatiha without making major tajweed mistakes, then he is ahaq, he is more preferred. The preference is for him to lead the people because of his status. And this shows, the hikmah, the wisdom of Islam, honoring those that have authority in the land. Even though they may be less knowledgeable than others in the gathering, their authority is still honored and preserved in Islam. وَلَا يَجْلِسْ عَلَى تَكْرُمَتِهِ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ, and a man does not sit on a person's furniture or his sofas, etc., except with the idhn, the permission of the owner. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, then the author says, وقال لمالك بن حويرث وصاحبه إذا حضرت الصلاة فليؤذن أحدكما وليؤمكما أكبركما. And he mentions another hadith here where the Prophet ﷺ, he says that if the salah time comes, then one of you, and here he's talking to two people, ﷺ, one of you should make the adhan and the other should lead the other one in the salah. وَكَانَتْ قِرَاءَتُهُمَا مُتَقَارِبَةً. And he said here that, so in this hadith he says that one of you should call the adhan, and the one that is bigger should lead the salah. And both of them used to be the same in their qira'ah, in their recitation of the Quran. وَلَا تَصِحُّ الصَّلَاةُ خَلْفَ مَنْ صَلَاتُهُ فَاسِدَةٌ إِلَّا لِمَنْ لَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِحَدَثِ نَفْسِهِ وَلَمْ يُعْلَمْهُ الْمَأْمُومُ حَتَّى سَلَّمَ فَإِنَّهُ يُعِيدُ وَحْدَهُ. And the author rahimahullah, he goes on to say that the salah is not valid for the one that prays behind a person which his salah is fasid, is not valid. So لا تصح صلاة خلف من صلاته فاسد. So it is not, your salah is not valid if you pray behind someone who their salah, the imam's salah, is fasid, it is not accepted. Except, and there's an exception, إلا لمن لم يعلم بحدث نفسه, except if the imam himself does not know that he did not have wudu. ولم يعلمه المأمون حتى سلم, and the ones behind him did not know, the followers did not know that he did not have wudu, he did not have tahara. فإنه يعيد وحده. So for example, an imam, he comes and he prays, for example, Salah al-Fajr, and he believes he has wudu. He doesn't, he knows that in himself, he thinks he has wudu. And the people behind him, of course, they think he has wudu, those that are following him. And he finishes salah and he goes home, and then he looks at his body. He realizes that there was a part, there was a part, maybe there was some paint on his hand. There was something that prevented the water from reaching to his body. Right? So he does not have wudu, of course. Or he remembers that he broke his wudu and he did not have wudu. Or he remembers that, he did not have ghusl. He remembers that, he forgot to make ghusl in the morning, and then he remembers right after. What does he do in that situation? Since he did not know it himself while he was praying, and those that were following him did not know it, if he finds out about it later on during the day or after his salah, then he performs his wudu and he repeats his salah by himself, and those that are following him do not have to repeat. And the dalil for this is the incident or the case of Umar radiallahu anhu, when he did not know that he did not have wudu, he forgot, and he did not have ghusl, and he remembered afterwards, and he prayed when he made ghusl, and he prayed when he remembered, and he led the people. He did not command them to repeat their salawat. He did not command them to repeat their salawat. And we'll end off here today, inshallah. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.